Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews. This is Societal Narcissism. This video is sponsored by contribution from Sunshine. And Sunshine sent in a bunch of video clips with this story, which I'm not going to use her clips because I found something better. I did a little bit of research on this, and as I read this, you'll understand why. Hi, Ollie. I just had to share because this literally hits close to home. I live very close to their city of Santa Cruz. I was horrified this morning to discover the accusation of parental alienation is being used to acquire court orders to send kids to camps. This is the first I'm hearing of any of this. I've heard of a lot of abuse out of family courts and juvenile courts of basically sending these kids for money and profit to these work camps, but this is the first I'm hearing of parental alienation being used. The juvenile criminal courts, there were a couple of judges who went to prison who were taking money to send kids for like shoplifting and stupid things to these horrendous privately owned work camps. And it looks like the same thing is happening under the guise of parental alienation. The kids must deny their abuse and take back their words, even in cases where medical records and other witnesses in court validate the child's statements. I knew these camps existed. I didn't realize family courts were using them in the form of reunification camps. This is the same strategy of abduction in camps that troubled teen industry thrives on. One very famous example being Paris Hilton being abducted and sending to camps in her teens, except these are court-ordered, not parent signed for. My parents, especially my mother, often threatened to send me to places if they could afford it or have me institutionalized. Sometimes she would put everything into one phrase. Well, if you're not happy and you don't want to be here, maybe you need to be psychoanalyzed, medicated, and shipped off to boarding school. So the idea of these camps really hits home for me. I think it would be amazing to hear from you as you experience both genuine parental alienation and narc abuse. My perspective is limited, being estranged from my parents as an adult, though through no contact. To be honest, I had a pretty emotional reaction to their story for sheer volume of gaslighting, so I need more perspective. The first video link is the court-ordered abduction of Maya and Sebastian. The second is a press conference where a senator reads her statement, which describes the abduction, so you don't have to show the footage. You should probably not show the clip on YouTube because it is child abuse, although it is available on YouTube. And I watched it, and you're right, because that's exactly what I just had to take a class on. These authorities are physically removing these children, and they're freaking out. And yeah, they'll probably hit me with child abuse. But I did a search on these kids, and I found a 20-minute video posted yesterday that I'm going to go through that I think is going to be deemed acceptable. So everybody could get the idea there. This clip just validates Maya's statement as read by the senator. It's just not necessary to show. Just know her statement as read is consistent with the footage of the event. So this is the video I found, and it was posted a day ago, yesterday. So obviously this is hot and in the news. From Insider News.
When this video of two kids being taken by...
These are the state workers. And mind you, in the first video I saw, they're not even Americans. They're not even American. They're not even, they weren't, well, they might be citizens now, but they weren't born here. They weren't born here. Why does that matter? I don't know. I just think it does.
By force went viral, people were shocked.
I can see it on film. Oh. Don't hurt her. You're pulling down my pants. Legalize kidnapping. That's what you're doing.
But actually, it had been ordered by a judge, and the same thing has happened to children across the country.
I'm terrified. Tomorrow is the day that they're going to try to take me. They're going to try to force me to my abuser's house.
I would mention the ways our dad abused us, and they would say our mom must be telling us lies and manipulating us.
I just want to go home.
I want mommy cuddles.
We were being held against our will, and I'm speaking out because I don't want anybody else to go through it.
If anyone could just share this, just spread awareness for what's going on, that would be amazing. There's people outside and they're gonna try and get us, so anyone who can, please come.
Everybody, please.
Okay. We're really scared.
We have paid.
Could you imagine having your kids taken away by people wearing sweatpants and hoodies with the help of the police because some judge signed off on it? Could you imagine?
That is
Not going.
But do you know where you're supposed to go? Do you know where?
A reunification camp? Yeah.
I was trying to process why these two adults were cornering my friends. I wasn't really thinking in this moment. I kind of just like walked up and gave them a big hug.
Maya and Sebastian were 15 and 11. Their parents had divorced, and they were refusing to see their mother.
And you have to help the judge to understand exactly.
I have talked to them.
You have to tell them, nobody's an American. Who gives these people? I'm sorry, I'm not anti-immigration, I'm not anti-immigrant, but I have a hard time as an American citizen giving immigrants this type of power over American children. I'm sorry, it's just wrong. It's just wrong. And you can call that hateful or ignorant or whatever it is. But this is part of the gaslighting. This is part of the reconditioning of what's going on here. It's disgusting. It's disgusting.
The judge. I've been a witness before the judge. I've described exactly what my mother has done. The judge has done nothing. Away from me!
I put myself between the transporters and Maya and Sebastian. I really thought I could stop them from being taken.
And nobody can stop what happened now. Nobody. Police officers are here. Everything is legal.
Useless fucking cops. Useless fucking cops. Oh, my pension. My pension. Oh, I gotta follow orders because it's my pension.
The people around you now are against the court order. You have to understand that. You don't want.
The day before she was taken, Maya testified that her mother was abusive, but the judge gave her mother sole custody, banned her father from seeing her and her brother, and ordered the kids into something called a reunification program. Supposedly, this was to repair their relationship with their mom. I found in my reporting that judges have ordered at least 600 kids into these reunification programs. There is actually a very predictable pattern. There's the abuse allegation. There's the alienation rebuttal. There's the custody switch. And there's the program. One young woman, Allie Toyos, was one of the first kids to start posting about these programs.
And understand something, as a father who's been completely alienated from his daughter, I would have never put Erin through this. Never, 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 never.
On social media.
What mother or father would want to see their kid go through one of these camps? I mean, it's just sick. Being how these camps have been used, those of us who've been abused, have been used as a threat against us our entire childhood.
Reunification camps are camps that are part of the troubled teen industry and allow abusers the ability to buy back the custody of their children through family court.
So few of the abductions get
videoed. The Maya and Sebastian video was shocking to me. It was very hard to watch as a survivor. I really was taken back to when my sister and I were transported.
Maya and Sebastian were abducted from Santa Cruz, California, and taken to Lynn Steinberg. Lynn Steinberg is a licensed therapist who runs a forced reunification camp to make money off of forcing kids back into the custody of parents.
Same with private prisons. These are private camps. And what does the private industry need? They need people to put into these camps and prisons. So they work with these corrupt judges. They work with the corrupt family court, with corrupt therapists, with corrupt whoever. Okay, so they get paid. The family court system is about money. The justice system is about money.
What was put out on the internet was that I had somehow kidnapped these children and I was child trafficking them.
Yeah, you are, you horrible bitch. Yeah, you absolutely are.
And that they had just disappeared off the face of the earth.
So in your opinion, did the transporters do anything wrong that night?
They did nothing wrong. This was a court order, and everybody had to obey court orders.
Court orders, another non-American. You notice they can't get Americans to do this shit, other than the cops. They can't get Americans born in the country, birthright Americans, to do this shit. They got to import their thugs for this as well. Miss Steinberg.
The judge ordered for the children to be in my 4-day therapy program. The children rejected their mother because they were brainwashed into rejecting their mother.
How does she know that? How would she know that? Weird. She gets to make that call and own the unification camp. Weird. It's like, you know, she has all the incentive here, because once she deems that these children have now been brainwashed, okay, and believe me, there's plenty of brainwashing going on legitimately, then she's like, oh, well, I can fix it if you pay me. The whole thing is a grift.
Parental alienation is when one parent turns the children against the other parent.
Absolutely. And now not only do these people steal the whole narcissism thing, for the abuser becomes the victim, they're doing it with parental alienation now as well.
It's following a divorce or separation. When I first started, the judge or the lawyer would accuse me of peddling snake oil, or they wouldn't allow me to use the word parental alienation. Now, when I go into a courtroom, they know who I am. I get the most severe cases. They always come to my program with false allegations of abuse. The children.
All of them? All have any of you? I would ask her, how many of these have you said, no, there's no parental alienation here, the children are right? Or is it 100% of the time they need to be in your re-education camp?
Yeah, they're pretty, I hate to say laughable.
There is no major medical or psychiatric or psychological or scientific organization that has stated that they consider parental alienation to be a valid scientific concept. Very often when they're...
It's valid. I mean, you can't invalidate parental alienation. But like everything with these sociopaths, they turn it to their own advantage, because that's just what they do.
There have been allegations of parental alienation. The child is sent to a treatment program which is essentially an experimental treatment, is not a proven effective or safe treatment. These venues are, as I understand it, usually a place in a rented apartment or a hotel.
$39,272 for 4 days. For 4 days. Gee, she has no incentive, right? She has no incentive.
Or motel.
We were taken to a hotel called the Come On Inn. I was 16 when I was taken to Family Bridges. The next 3 days really consisted of just watching YouTube videos.
Memory works a little bit more like a Wikipedia page. You can go in there and change it, but so can other people.
They were really chosen to make us not believe our own experiences.
What is alienation? Not a nation of aliens.
Welcome Back Pluto was a very interesting video.
Alienated doesn't mean an alien ate something.
They told us that if we learned about parental alienation, we would be cured and we would have...
So what bothers me is parental alienation is absolutely real. And it's something that absolutely happens to mostly fathers. And now the whole thing is being twisted around, okay, to make money and steal children and abuse them.
Have a great relationship with our father.
According to practitioners of the parental alienation treatments, if you don't have substantiated evidence, for example, a Child Protective Services investigation, the child's disclosure of abuse is not in and of itself considered to be evidence that there was abuse.
It was all, oh, you didn't experience abuse, it was all made up, your mom told you to say these things.
Well, everybody knows children lie.
The original writing about the parental alienation concept was by a child psychiatrist named Richard Gardner.
Dr. Richard Gardner is a one-man antidote to what he calls sex abuse hysteria.
In the early 1980s, I began to see a new phenomenon. It is a syndrome that arises in the context of a child custody dispute.
Judges generally awarded women full custody. But that started to change in the 70s. Judges started to say, let's just see which parent will best serve the needs of the child. So judges started turning to mental health professionals for assistance, and one of the most influential mental health professionals working in family court was Richard Gardner. He was an advisor to judges deciding custody cases.
Consider what Dr. Gardner says a good mother would do if her child told her of sexual abuse.
I don't believe you. I'm going to beat you for saying it. Don't you ever talk that way again about your father.
Gardner thought that a lot of angry, mentally unstable women were brainwashing their children against their fathers.
Step number one is to take the child away and protect the child from the indoctrinations. And then it requires a transitional site. An option, and I'm very serious about this, is to take the kid and put him in jail a day or two. Juvenile detention center.
Gardner's ideas didn't catch on right away.
I have zero success in convincing courts to do this.
Gardner had some successors. That included Richard Warshak and William Burnett.
There are many children out there who are being influenced and manipulated to take sides with one parent against the other.
Which is true, but you don't take the kid and put them in jail and put them in a camp.
I am going to tell you about our effort to get this condition, this mental condition, accepted as an official diagnosis.
Judges.
And again, the alienation isn't the mental condition. The cluster B personality disorder that leads to the behavior is. Again, we are making other syndromes, okay, instead of getting down to brass tacks of what's driving this. And in most cases, it's borderline personality disorder. It's a mother with borderline personality disorder.
Didn't necessarily know that the theory hadn't been scientifically validated.
We're actually
Okay, the solution isn't to take the child away, isn't to lock the child away. The solution is to lock the alienator away. The legitimate alienator is who needs to go to jail, who needs to go to re-education. That's who.
Hosting a family for a high road to reunification. So we're on day 2. We have a dad and a couple of kids.
Nowadays, as in the Maya and Sebastian case, fathers sometimes get accused of alienation too.
The basic tragedy of parental alienation is that we have a cottage industry which thrives on increasing conflict between parents in child custody situations.
If you include transport costs, some parents spend more than $70,000 on the 4-day program.
4 days, $70,000.
I'm not convinced that judges understand what they're ordering.
They understand. They're in on it. They're in on it. They get to keep their jobs. They get to make more money. The lawyers make the money, okay? The psychologists make the money. The camps get the money. The thugs who go and steal the children and take the children away make their money.
Have children who are being given into the custody of parents who have been abusive in the past and are likely to be abusive again.
How could you say no to that?
That's true. That's cute.
In 2016, this was all new at that time. Nobody had even heard of these programs. Do you think that summer of 2016, maybe?
I said, like, what happens if I don't go? My mom told me that they would come take me by force. I was 14.
The original ruling was the children stay with me because Michael's drinking was out of control. He had to blow into a breathalyzer prior to visitation so that I could be guaranteed the children's safety while he was there.
When my dad was trying to get us back, I told Judge Ostrowski that I was afraid to go back there. I'd get screamed and yelled at, locked in my room, locked outside, hit, pushed, thrown things at. Eventually my dad resorted to self-harm. He would slam his head into the table or beat himself up when he was screaming at me. Judge Ostrowski eventually decided that we were going to do this parent reunification therapy with my dad and that my mom had alienated us.
They were forced into the program called Turning Points for Families.
Turning Points for Families places unqualified confidence in the alienated parent to heal the child and therefore initially anoints the...
Turning Points. It is run by a therapist named Linda Gottlieb.
Gottlieb calls
Linda Gottlieb.
her program a therapeutic vacation. She claims almost 100% success rate, but once again, what's the success? What was the problem?
No child rejects a parent unless they're influenced. We equate the process to a brainwashing in a cult.
And you see, the problem is with these people, like with any type of narcissism, okay, they always mix the truth with the lie to make it seem more valid. Okay, because alienation is a real thing. It does happen, but now they're looking how to profit off of it.
Some mothers whose kids had been taken from them and sent to Turning Points shared recordings of their phone calls.
Your daughter is under your spell. What you did is criminal. But I'm giving you an opportunity to change that with meaningful letters.
Parents write the letters because they think that that way they're going to get to be able to see their kids again. And unfortunately, that's often not the case.
You can free your daughter from believing her father abused her, and as long as she doesn't recover, I will not recommend lifting the no contact.
These people are monsters. They're monsters.
Linda, I think I'm demonstrating that I'm trying. This is my 3rd draft of this letter.
No, it's too late for my football career.
Ashton, he ran away prior to aging out of the program and came back. And I know that was very hard for him to do because he had to leave his brother behind, who he loves dearly. And he struggles with that choice every day.
Happy birthday. Today is your 15th birthday. I really miss you. And I hope I get to see you soon.
They were supposed to be sequestered there for a weekend, but it's turned into 6 years. The baby, he was 9. I hope that I see him before he turns 18. Do I think it's going to happen? Honestly, probably not.
So he's been in 6 years. 6 years, which was supposed to be 4 days. Why isn't he living with the father then? This is all about money. This is about destroying children, destroying families. Brainwashing. Who's doing the actual brainwashing here?
It's still hard to believe that she's gone. It just doesn't seem fair to Maya and Sebastian that for the rest of their lives they're gonna have to live with the memory of what they've gone through. We just don't know where she is she's safe.
Even though it's been 6.5 months, we're not stopping. We're not gonna stop our fight until they're returned. We're pushing to fix the broken system itself by bringing light to the issues, sharing our story, sharing Maya and Sebastian's story.
We published an article mentioning the children in the viral video, and a few days later, Maya reached out to me.
I haven't been able to talk to my friends or my grandparents or my step-siblings or my dad or my stepmom or any of those people who are actually supportive family in 7 months now.
So are you concerned that this could go on until you're both 18?
Yeah, I'm pretty much expected it will.
Later that night, they ran away from their mom's house.
We finally got away, so just update, and we're doing okay now that we got away.
We can't tell you where we are, but
for obvious reasons.
We're safe and we're okay.
These camps need to be shut down to prevent further trauma to kids, and I think one way we could do that is through legislation.
Some of you may have heard this particular instance from Santa Cruz where 2 children were ripped from their homes in the middle of the night, almost like a kidnapping.
We will now turn to the witness.
Hi, my name is Maya Lang. I'm 16 from Santa Cruz. We ran away from our mother last month. We still aren't allowed to live with our father because of the court orders. The court called me a liar, ignored my testimony, and gave full custody to my mother. 3 large adults dragged us to their car. This was the start of reunification camp. The therapist interrogated us for 4 days. They threatened us, called us sociopaths, and said we had, quote, false memories.
They always project onto you what they are. They always project onto you what they are. This is not about alienation. It's about personality disorder, mainly borderline.
This is our family court system, and this was deemed in our best interest. I ask you to please vote yes.
This bill will save lives and prohibits counseling that takes place in an unregulated, non-clinical setting, counseling that is coercive and threatening, especially to children.
She gets to decide. She gets to decide who's being alienated and who comes into her camp that she owns and she can make up to $70,000 per child on. Think about how crazy that is.
I think it's now been nearly 8 months since we've been able to see our dad.
Can you tell me about what your lives have been like over the past few weeks when you've been in hiding?
There's nowhere that really feels entirely safe because our mom's still out there and she still has custody of us.
If they do try to take you, what will you do?
I'm not getting taken again. And if I do, I'll run and run and run again.
This is not a path that is healthy for any.
So obviously their re-education isn't working because she's been away from her father for close to a year and nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. These kids, it doesn't work. Why? Because they're actually being abused by the other parent. And those are the kids they want. They want the ones who are legitimately living with the good parent. This is why, because they're trying to destroy these children. They're trying to make as many unhealthy adults in the future as possible.
Any kid, to force kids into a relationship with any parent, whether they're abusive or not, is still very traumatic.
I have severe emotional trauma that I'm going to have to live with probably for the rest of my life. I can't see a therapist because it just creates a panic for me.
Once I'm
why would you ever trust another therapist again? Why?
free to go about my life, I want to be the person who can help protect other children and make this not a reality. There we go.
Oh, gee. October 28th, 2023, the judge ruled that Maya and Sebastian could return home to their father. So what was all this about? See, judges don't like negative publicity. They don't. They probably made their money off them. They made all the money they possibly could make off of them. So now they could go back to the rightful parent.
Hey.
Then the children are not required to see their mother. Interesting. Interesting. However, the judge maintained the children's abuse allegations against their mother were false. Right, because he doesn't want to admit he fucked up. But the kids are both old enough to decide, because it had been precedent that the children could decide where they had a say in where they wanted to live. Because, when I went through it, and look, this is why I was always terrified dealing with the family court. And no, Erin wouldn't talk to me, won't call. Okay, you could only push it so far. Well, she's old enough now where she can make her own decision. Which is what I was told. I never would have put her through something like this. Never.
I used to describe myself more as like a quiet person, but now I've become a little bit louder. My friends have already been talking to lawmakers and tried to create this as a national movement, and I want to keep doing that work.
I have some really, really amazing news. Peaky's Law, which is a law here in California that will keep kids safe from what happened to me and my brother, just passed the state senate.
I stand here today with my
We'll see if Governor Hairgel actually signs it into law.
brother, my friends Kirsten and Claire, who spoke for me when we could not, Governor Gavin Newsom, please sign Peaky's Law and protect me, my brother, and so many other children like us in California. Thank you.
Ayes 72, no 0. Bill passes.
California became the second state in the U.S. to bar judges from ordering children into many unification programs. Well, good for them. Insider contacted 21 judges around the country who've ordered children into reunification programs, including the judges mentioned in this film. None agreed to be interviewed. And I would want to see their finances. I would want to see what money's going into them, because these judges have been caught in the past taking money to send children to these camps. And all the other ones refused to comment. What a shock. What a shock. And this is a little longer clip of your expert witness, Lynn Steinberg.
Never experienced anything as painful and nightmarish in my whole life.
She says she understands the issue of parental alienation because she herself is a so-called erased parent. So how does she tell between true and false allegations?
The abused child would maintain a relationship with the parent who had abused them, and in fact wanted to see them and wanted to go back to them.
This is like always, or almost
yes,
always?
Probably 90% part. They always want to go back to the abusive parent.
Abused children?
Yes.
Even if they're sexually abused, physically abused, emotionally?
Bullshit. Bullshit. Bullshit.
Even in those situations.
So how do you distinguish between abuse and alienation?
See, this woman is a monster whose kids wanted nothing to do with her. So now she's out to project and get revenge on everybody else's kids and make money doing it.
Well, an alienated child, it's 100% that the alienated parent or the target parent.
And what makes you an expert on this? Because she says she is
bad, and the other parent is good.
When they disclose abuse, when they say, you know, somebody touched me inappropriately, or did this, or hit me, or whatever.
Yeah, well, those are the cases that I specialize in working with, is where there's sexual abuse. And really, you can...
That's a lie. That's a lie. Watched her eyes, down to the left. That's a lie.
Investigated all the way down to what the truth is. Like, for example, this father was being accused of sexually molesting and assaulting his daughter. And I knew that he had diabetes and he couldn't get an erection. And nor would he ever want to.
Well, what's that? This other way? What? What?
To his daughter.
Wait, how do you know that he couldn't get an erection?
He told me, and that is one of the
what?
Diabetic.
This is who these courts was word they were taking. To say, oh, and send them to my camp so they could give me $70,000. Are you serious?
Diabetic people can't get erections?
Well, if it's severe, yeah, they can't.
I asked doctors if having diabetes or telling your therapist that you have diabetes should disqualify someone from being a child molester. They said no. Not all people with diabetes suffer from erectile dysfunction, and ED does not prevent someone from sexually abusing a child. Experts aren't only testifying in court, they also offer treatments that can cost tens of thousands of dollars to reunify children with a so-called alienated parent, sometimes an alleged abuser. Popular among experts of this treatment is to remove the accusing parent who they have labeled an alienator.
But that's a dangerous call to make.
Yes.
It's a very dangerous call to make. Because if you get it wrong, a child might end up in the custody of an abuser.
Well, the Department of Social Services gets it wrong all the time.
All the time.
They are not trained. You know, someone like me who's gone through 12 years post-high school of training, and you specialize in that area, it's a much more simple proposition.
What's that? What training? What training? What training?
Position.
And what does it take to have some kind of certification to be an expert in parental alienation?
There is none.
Dr.
There is none. What does it take to get certified? Oh, there is none. There is none. But I run a camp, okay, to deem the other parent a problem and force to have thugs go to a home, forcibly remove the children and send them to me for $70,000 for 4 days. Absolutely horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. They're trying to destroy these kids. They're trying to destroy family. And just like estranged parents, okay? Just like estranged parents, the alienators are flipping the scripts for the children on the children that fight back against being alienated. It's absolutely disgusting. So I'm going to leave it there. Thank you, Sunshine, for your contribution and topic. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comment section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, something you'd like to expose, you'd like to set up a Skype, a phone call, have a private video made, you'd like to sponsor a video like this for someone who needs help and can't afford it, or just make a contribution to the channel in general to keep it supported, growing, and successful, because this channel survives 100% on contributions from all of you. Without you guys, all this goes away. So if you like what you see here and you want to see more videos like this, you know what to do with either the Cash App, Zelle, PayPal, and email links in the description box below. Also, please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. Also, be sure to subscribe to both my Rumble channels. Follow me on Twitter and Telegram as well. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been Societal Narcissism. Take care, everyone.